Welcome to another episode of YounderTales. Ski man, I'm getting a lot of great feedback on these on this podcast. Man, I appreciate all the love, man. Thank you for coming on these travels and listening to these funny stories that I have gathered through these years of fishing and just enjoying myself through this life. Ski. So on today's podcast of YounderTales, I like to tell a story of one of my top 5 best fishing tournaments on the California Delta. It will be the windy Wednesday nighter. This was probably like maybe like 8 years ago or somewhere around there, 9 years ago, between 7 and 9 years ago. I don't know the exact date, but this was a time during the California Delta when I'm fishing the amateur circuit, and my whole thing with the amateur circuit was my theory was for me to be one of the head guys, one of the top guys on the California Delta. I needed to be a guy on that fishes every circuit and was a problem at every circuit. So that was my thing. Me and Clint, me and Eastwood. So I mean, from all the amateur tournaments, the Wednesday turkey shoot. Back then it was a Monday turkey shoot, the Wednesday turkey shoot, the Thursday turkey shoot, and every tournament in between. Our goal was to take over the Delta, and as soon as we pull up, they're like, here they come again, and get plaques in every circuit. So on our quest to do all of this, me and Clint had like this crazy year. Like, we was just going crazy with the weights, right? So we fished the Tracy Oasis tournament, and we caught 2 fish for 20. 2 for 20, right? Crazy day. And this was a day that we just randomly, just like any other Wednesday. This was a Thursday turkey shoot for Tracy Oasis that we just always go fish, have a good time. Me and Eastwood cracking jokes. I want to say he caught like a 10 something. He caught a 10 something on a drop shot. First thing that day around 3 o'clock. It was like the tournament was like 3 to 8 or something like that, and 3 to 8, 3 to 9, 3 to 9. I want to say he caught a 10 something on drop shot. First thing, we was like, damn, that's crazy. We catch a couple of solid fish. Right at the end, I catch like a 990 something on a chatterbait, and that put us for 2 for 20. And we ended up that tournament probably like, I think it was like 28, 29 pounds, right? Crazy. Win that tournament, the turkey shoot. So me and Clint was like, man, like, that was the day right there to remember. 2 for 20. So then the next Wednesday, we were going to go fish the Wednesday nighter, and Clint couldn't make it. So I was like, all right, well, I'm about to still just go fishing, to go have some fun. My mind still was like, man, I'm about to go back down south near Tracy Oasis where we found those fish. Maybe I can catch another big one. We had a couple of spots where we caught some frogfish. We missed a couple. I'm figuring I could still go there because there was still some bites there. So the Wednesday nighter launches out of Lads out of Stockton. So we leave. Whoa. I'm headed down south, right? I get halfway there. I pull up to this. I'm passing this island. I look over to my right. I see this at the point of the island with some tulies, and current was just pushing all on the tulies. And I was like, man, that looked like a good spot to throw a chatterbait. So I'm like, no, stick to the plan. We got frogfish. Let's go catch these frogfish so we can try to, win this Wednesday nighter. I'm like, yeah. So I keep going. I get to the other side of this island. On the other side, there was a patch of hyacinth tucked into the island. And I was like, oh, I gotta flip that. It just looked too good. And now my mind is like, I stop. I said, okay, now we got 2. We'll just punch this hyacinth in the corner, and then we'll troll up to the other side of the island, and then chatterbait that point with the current pushing on the tulies, and then we'll go hit our spot. So I pull up to the hyacinth. I flip up in there. As soon as I flip up in there, dude, woo. Line start crying. I was like, oh, that's her. Come out 5 yonder. I'm like, ooh, okay, look at that. First flip, first fish, 5 yonder. Throw 5 yonder in there. I'm like, okay, well, let's go and troll up now to the point over there, to the current where the toolies were. So I'm fishing, I'm casting up there. I'm casting while I'm trolling. I'm trolling kind of fast, making casts so I can get up there. In between, halfway through, it was like 3 toolies sticking up like this. I mean, they were not even maybe a 2 foot out the water. And I make a cast right by it. And I was like, I was saying, oh my gosh. No, I take that back. That was the second fish. The first fish, I make a cast. So it was 3 toolies sitting just like this. Right? So then I make a cast. I'm reeling it. I bring it all the way back to the boat, chatterbait. I look down. There's a gordita just following the chatterbait. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I just stopped reeling when I saw fish. Chatterbait makes a dive. Fish goes and hit it. Dope. I'm like, oh. I start walking to the back of the boat like I had a dog on a leash. I'm like, oh, stay up. Stay up. I get to the back. I grab net. Fish come to jump. Net at the fish. It was 10 something. I said, oh my gosh. I can't believe this. I got a 10 something and a 5 something. Now, the week or 2 before that, it was a pro-am tournament I fished. I needed a chatterbait rod because mine's broke, or it was some reason I needed a chatterbait rod. So I called my buddy Captain J, Josh Kaneko. Beep, boop, bop, beep. Jizzle, I need a rod to borrow. He was like, oh, now Jizzle only carry the best of the best of the best when it comes to that tackle. So when he loaned it to me, I knew that it wasn't gonna disappoint. So he shoots me rod. I fished a pro-am, but I haven't seen Captain J since then, so I still had rod with me. Now, when me and Clint, when I caught that 9 something in the Tracy Oasis the week before, 9 something came on that rod. Now, I take rod out to the Wednesday nighter, so this is the same rod I'm throwing. I punch a 5 with my steez. Dude, there she is. Chatterbait, this 10 yonder plus. Dude, there she is. Right? So now I'm like, goodness. First hour of the tournament, I got a 10 and a 5. I'm fixing up. I get myself back together like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm fixing my chatterbait all up and everything. And like, whew. The next cast, I make a next cast. I'm not even to the toolies yet with the current push on it. I can see it in the ways away, and I'm just trying to cruise up to it. And my mind is that's where she lives, right? So I make the next cast. I'm like, oh my God, that was crazy. As soon as it hits the water, I make one crank. Dupe, but not a big dupe, but a regular dupe. But it had a little bite to it when that little dupe was like a dupe. I was like, oh, good. So I'm start reeling. And I'm like, oh my God, another fish. It felt pretty good. So I'm reeling. Halfway back to the boat. Now the fish not fighting. It's not doing anything. Now I'm reeling. I'm like, man, did I get excited and I hooked a stick? You know, so I'm like, oh man. I said, but I swear that felt like a bite. It finally gets right in front of me. It jumps 11 yonder. I'm like, it goes, dude, hit the water. I'm like, oh my God. Now, this is the biggest fish. That's my PB. This is my PB right here, right? I'm like, oh, now prior to this, which is crazy, is I used to get like frustrated because I'm like, I'm out here like every week, all day, like 5 days a week I'm out here fishing. How come it's so hard for me to catch a double-digit fish? Then that year I caught a couple now, and then it went to the 9 something. Then I got a 10 something in the box. Now I got 11 yonder hooked up. I'm like, I got 17-pound fluoro, drag pent down. She's like trying to yank the rod out my hand to swim that way. And I'm like, oh my God, no one's gonna believe me. Like, please stay on. Like, no one's gonna believe this story. So she's pulling. I'm like reaching for the net. In my mind, she's about to come off. Like, she's pulling so hard. And the drag is locked down. There's nothing I can do. I get the net. As soon as I get in there and turn around, the fish, because the bank wasn't that far from me, the fish turns around and start heading for deep water, but she's still like right there. I put the net in the water. She swims right into the net. I put her into the boat. I'm like, oh my gosh. I couldn't even believe it. I'm going crazy. I grab my phone. I instantly take video. Like, you not going to believe this. Got Jizzle on your ride. Ever since then, Jizzle let me have that ride because now it's known as Lucky Ride, right? So I had a 10 something and an 11 something. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. First hour of the tournament. I'm thinking like, okay, you know what? I'm about to catch 40 pounds. This is my opportunity to catch 40. So I'm like, and I didn't even got to the juice yet. And I even got to the Tulies with the current pushing on it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So now I'm so excited now. My mind is like, usually back then too, if you had some good tournaments, Jody Only from Western Bass, she should always pop around the tournaments, and if you did good, you know what I'm saying, you made the paper, you know what I'm saying, like that was big time, like it was just being the knowledge that you crushed. So that year, I had such a good year, I had a relationship with Jody. So when I caught those 2 fish, I instantly sent her a message like, beep, boop, bop, beep. Like, I don't know what you doing, Jody, this evening, but if you can come down to Lads, I'm shooting for 40 pounds. I have an 11 and a 10. This is crazy. Sent that. Now I get to the Tulies, to the point. I'm throwing it like, oh my God, this is the day where it happens. Nobody's home. I'm like, oh man. Okay, all good. I still got the juice. Woo, 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 all the way down south. I fish down south, throw the frog. I catch some fish. They just wasn't no gorditas. They wasn't no younders. End up coming back with, I think I had 30 pounds and some change, right? At that time, this is the biggest weight the Wednesday Nighters ever had. And this was like my first year actually coming out there to win to fish the Wednesday Nighter. Because how am I thinking was, I fish these tournaments, I'm doing good, I fish these tournaments. Somebody's like, hey, such and such is throwing a tournament. Like, what? And then I'm there, I'm fishing that tournament. Hey, they throw tournaments over here. Oh, what? And then, you know what I'm saying? That's how I became the scarecrow. Because I used to be at all the tournaments putting that pressure on them, right? So I get back. Now, I'm sitting in the boat. I'm so nervous. Now, at this time, this is what they used to do at the Wednesday Nighters. They used to come around to everybody's boat, and they put all the fish in a bag. They had the scale. They hold the scale, and then see whoever wanted to get weighed, get your fish weighed. And they would walk around, and the crowd would walk with the director as he went and weighed these fish. I'm sitting on the boat like, oh my God. Like, this is, I think at that time, that was the biggest bag I ever had. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, right? Now, probably the Wednesday before that, me and Clint, I think we had like 20 something. So we already been kicking ass on over on the Wednesday Nighters for a couple of times already. So for me to be by myself and hit for 30, then they say, hey, oh, did you get them? And I was like, yeah. So then the crowd comes. They walk up to my boat. The director is like, all right, Obedy, give me the fish. So I was like, I want to weigh big fish first. So I reach in, and then I grab the 10. And then I pulled the 10 out, and everybody goes, oh my God, that's her. That's the one. And then I was like, oh, that's not the big one. That's not the big one. What are you talking about? This is crazy, right? So I pull up, I grabbed the other fish, the 11. Put 11 in there, 11 such and such for big fish. I put all the fish in, 30 pounds. My guy, Tilbury, he goes, the son of a bitch just had 2 for 20 last week. Because everybody's like, that's 2 fish for 20. He just had 2 for 20 last week. Hey, I said, man, I win that tournament. I called Clint. I said, you should have came, man. Like, I said, it was a magical day. Magical day. Had 30 pounds. Jody Only comes and she shows up. She takes pictures, put it in the Western Bass. Epic day. That day there was like that time where it was like, I felt like, okay, I have arrived. I can catch these big fish. It's just putting that time in, and eventually it was going to happen. And that day there was so crazy to win that one. And actually what was so crazy was all the Wednesday Nighters prior to that, had a couple of seconds, some thirds, some fourths, but I never got the first place. And then that was like one of the last little circuits that I was like, I didn't win a tournament in, and I wanted to win so bad. So to come back and win with 30, and at the time had the biggest weight ever in the Wednesday nighter, man, that was just like an honor all by itself. It was just so classic. Hey, it got so big because that there was like, this dude is just on fire right now. The next week, on the next Wednesday when I showed up, the director was like, I'm sorry, Obity, but, the guys here, I got to check your whole boat. So they have to go through every department to make sure. I'm sitting there getting weak because I'm like, that's it. Because on the Delta, it's crazy like that. Like, if you start doing good and winning and staying up there a bunch of times, some of the guys who don't catch them like that, their brains can't even calculate how you even doing it. Only thing they could be like, it's no way. He got to be cheating. Like, it's no way that he's catching these fish like this. And it's just the satisfaction is like, that's how much work I put in, or that's how good you are when an average guy can't even comprehend on how you can keep coming back with bags like that. But then the cool part of it is the guys that's on that upper echelon of the Delta sticks, they all tip their hat because they all know. You see, like the guys who done did it in prior times and had their moments or still be having their moments and know that any time could be their moment, they always know a guy can go through a little run and make magic happen. And it was just like a good time from then on. That tournament there, after that, things started to change a lot for me on the Delta. And I got those stories coming up soon. But hey, as of right now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a Yonder Tale. Yeeta dee!
There's gotta be like a 10 or 11, maybe 12 pounder. Oh my God. I'm killing them. I just got started Wednesday night tournament. They put this in my face. I got a 5 in there. I just got another 10. I got a 10, like 2 10s. Like back-to-back casts. Oh my. Jizzle, it's on your pole, Jizzle, back-to-back. Oh, yes, sir. Oh my God. Yes. Oh Lord. I'm going for it, Espo. I'm going for it. Into the